Hi, Dr. Karen Can here. Welcome to another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. And every week, my intention is to give you tips on how to navigate the ascension process with greater ease and grace. And also kind of like what are the spiritual happenings around the universe and how that might affect you, especially if you are a sensitive soul or highly sensitive person like I am. So this past week, we are in one of the phases of the Ascension Cycle called the rising phase. Yes, if you watched my video from last week, you're like, hey, I thought last week we were in the rising phase. Yes, we had just started it and we're still in it, at least as of this recording. So if you had watched last week's video, you'll know that during the rising phase of the ascension cycle, this is when we have access to higher and higher dimensional energies and higher vibrations. And a lot of times, especially highly sensitive people that already have a lot of energy in their upper chakras, in their upper energy centers, like fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and above, what sometimes can happen is these energies really kind of, bring us out and up. And that can pose some challenges to our physical bodies because these energies tend to sometimes get trapped from here up. And I thought I would do a little experiment. And even though last week I said that one of the challenges of this rising phase of the ascension cycle was grounding, I did not specifically test my grounding last week. So over the last 3 days, I noticed that I was getting numbness in both arms. And I do have a chronic or recurring issue where if there was too much energy in the upper body, it kind of shuts off this left lymphatic port. And then I kind of feel congested on this side. Now, of course, this can happen on this side as well, but I feel more congested on this side. So sometimes there'll be a little aching down the arm or stiffness of the neck or really tight muscles or muscle knots, that kind of thing. So when I did some TOLPAKAN healing and asked what's going on, the answer was, guess what? Grounding. So I assessed myself and found out that I was not grounded as well as I could be. And in fact, my average grounding during the day, and we're talking about spiritual grounding in this case, spirit in the body, was only about 60%. So those higher energies kind of amalgamated up here and didn't fully get distributed to the rest of me. So I did a procedure last night and voila, this morning did not wake up with numb arms or wake up with achiness on this side. So that was super cool. So I'm actually going to show you in a model format the different ways that we can be grounded. And you, if you're having some challenges right now, especially anything physical from here up, you may be, you may find that this may be really helpful for you to test if you do divine muscle testing, how grounded you are in all these different aspects. Okay, so let me show you some slides. So I created this for you so you could, if you're a visual learner, like 80% of people, you could get a better handle of the different ways we can be grounded. So one of the first ways that I want to share with you is kind of like physically grounded. So what does that mean? Well, that means that the electromagnetic parts of us, okay, are balanced. So that means that Mother Earth and her electromagnetic charge is balanced with our electromagnetic charge. And for most people, what that means is putting our bare skin on the ground, on the land outside, or on a tree, anything that's conductive. Okay, the wetter, the more conductive. So if you're in seawater or lake water, even better. Now, right now, as of this recording, it's January 2020, and up north, there's a lot of snow. So probably won't be going outside anytime soon with, just bare feet. So in my case, what I do to get electromagnetically grounded to the earth, which is very healthy for the body, by the way, there's lots of data showing that being grounded decreases inflammation and balances your hormones, cool. So I use an earthing pad. the earthing people, thanks to Clint Ober, who I had interviewed a couple of months ago, related to earthing and the earthing movie, created a company that would help you ground even though you're inside. So I actually have a grounding mat here near the computer that I have my hand on. I also have a grounding mat, which is big for the bed. My husband has one, and I have one through the length of our bodies. And these are brand new. These are actually made of carbon fiber, so they don't break down. You don't have to keep buying one every 2 years, because fibers break down and are not conductive anymore. These are made with carbon fiber. They're conductive, gone through a battery of tests, and you don't have to be fully naked in bed either for them to work. Cool or cool? I mean, if you want to be naked, you can, but so these will, even with pajamas on, sheets over top, will ground your physical body electromagnetically. And that means the wonderful negatively charged electrons from Mother Earth get to swoop in and clean up the inflammation and help balance your hormones. So that is one of the ways you can ground. Now, another way you can ground is how much of your spirit is in your body, is housed in your body. There's a lot of people who are not fully present, myself included, in the last 3 days. So what that means is our spirits are kind of floating in the ethers. We're kind of either up in our heads or, when we sleep at night, sometimes our astral bodies will separate from our physical bodies and connected by a silver cord. And we'll astral travel to different places, do different missions at night. Some of us do that. And then when we wake up in the morning, we want to, again, inhabit our physical body, because guess what? If you are not fully present, you cannot create and manifest, of which we're going to talk a little bit later about, in your new reality, right? If you're not fully here, you cannot manifest if you're not fully here and fully charged up and fully present. So a lot of spiritual traditions talk about being present. And this is what they're talking about, being full of yourself, inhabiting your body and embodying all your spirit in the physical body, which for some sensitive souls can be really challenging because their physical body doesn't feel good. But interestingly, you cannot heal the physical body unless you are embodied. And that is beyond what we can talk about today on how to do that. That's in many of my programs. Let's continue talking about grounding. So the other way you can be grounded is to something that I have named, thanks to Source, the crystalline body blueprint. If you think about all your lives and all realities and all of the infiniverse, all of creation, there is a thread of commonality among all your lives. There is a unique you, like a blueprint, almost like a thumbprint of you. Now, you might be an alien in one life and, human in another, and who knows what, in another lifetime, maybe a light being. But there is a blueprint that is your unique self in all of the fractal of the multiverse. That's what I mean by the crystalline body blueprint. And apparently there have been some interferences. Maybe, I don't know if any of them are accidental, but definitely there have been some that have been purposeful and dark that have pulled us away from our crystalline body blueprint, just for confusion and just slowing us down in our mission, things like that. So this is one of the things that you want to be connected to and grounded to, is you, the real raw you, the crystalline body blueprint. So lastly, what do you want to be grounded to? Well, it's what I got in conversations with Source is something called the seventh plane. And by the way, all these things are in TOLPAKAN Healing Level 1 training. We talk about these in some of the guide trainings. So the seventh plane is like, the easiest translation would be like heaven. So heaven on earth. So what do you ground to the seventh plane? Well, you can ground your physical body to the seventh plane, your mental body, emotional body, energetic body, spiritual body, dimensional body. So that should say PMEESD, by the way, not 2 M's by mistake. And then also, in addition to all the parts of you being grounded to heaven at seventh plane, you can also ground your vision to the seventh plane. So what that means is that vision of your future reality that you wish to create to be fully grounded to heaven. And we're going to talk about, how that all works, as far as, what do you have to do to create your greatest vision? That's the next model I'm going to be showing you. So using divine muscle testing, you can actually check how grounded am I to everything I'm supposed to be grounded to for the highest good. That's the quick way of doing it. Get a percentage out of 100% if you don't need to know more. Okay, if God does not need you to know more information, specific information, you can go ahead and do a TOLPAKAN Healing Directive and just ground yourself to everything that you should be grounded to for the highest good. So that would sound something like this. I now command that I be fully grounded, body, mind, soul, or you could say physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, angelic, dimensional, to everything that I should be grounded to for the highest good, in the highest and best way, all directions of time, ease, and grace. Thank you. So that's just an example. That's kind of like an all-encompassing testing and directive. The other TOLPAKAN healing you could do is you could test each of these components separately. You could test, the electromagnetic, how electromagnetically grounded you are most days when you're awake and when you're asleep. Hopefully, if you have an earthing pad at night, you'll be, 100% when you're asleep. Spirit in the body, we probably want to test that mostly when you're awake. So what percentage of the time on average is your spirit fully inhabiting your body while awake? How grounded are you to your crystalline body blueprint, the real you? And then how grounded is your entire being to the seventh plane? And then you can do individuated parts of you if you would like. And then how grounded is your vision to the seventh plane? And then get a percentage and then do any healing around that you want to do. All right, so that is a very detailed way of looking at grounding. And for me, it was kind of a mixture of a couple of these things that was causing me to have a lot of the energy stuck up here. So when I had cleared and balanced those things using TOLPAKAN healing, then last night I was able to sleep without the pain and numbness going down my arms, which was really nice. Okay, so next thing I want to share with you along the lines of vision and especially New Year's 2020, like hello, vision, right? is the Involved or Enlightened Humans Model of Conscious Creation, or M.O.C. So we want to start with what I call illumination and vision. So what is illumination? Well, in order to consciously create your brand new future that you desire, we first of all want to make sure that it is along the path that is the most light for you. So this actually segues to what we did in 2019, which was the year of discernment. And in the year of discernment, we learned ways, especially if you're a student of mine, you learned ways of how to discern your stuff, not your stuff. This is the right path. This is not the right path. And in fact, we did the Light Warrior Training Camp, which is a live 5-day camp at the Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York, learning how to do this discernment, with various different methods, intuition methods, things like that, TOLPAKAN healing methods. How do you know it's aligned to your divine path? And this is where the illumination comes in and is married to that discernment. So it's much easier to manifest your greatest dreams when it's aligned with your divine path. Because sometimes, it's like someone, who loves to sing, wanting to be a rock star. Okay, but they actually don't have any idea what the lifestyle of a rock star is, or how much, what kind of, let's just say, manipulation that might go on to becoming a rock star. They might be completely innocent. They just have the idea, I want to sing, I want to be in a band, and I want to make music, right? That's their passion. But their divine path might be related to coaching, counseling, or teaching others how to shine their light and express themselves, but not necessarily to make money being a rock star, right? So if they're so set on being a rock star, they kind of miss the bigger picture. That's a problem. That's where we want to be able to illuminate the divine path that is a great fit for you and why you're here on earth. And when we talk about vision, we're talking about, the big vision, the greater, grander vision that you have for this existence and this timeline, not just, and it can be in the next 5 minutes or the next 5 days, but really the big picture. What is your grandest vision? And so, for example, one of my grand visions is having light warrior training camps, or what I also call sensitivity to superpower training camps all around the world, so that people of all ages, including children, teens, somewhere in betweens, and adults, can train how to utilize these superpowers they already have, but have currently no way of learning them in a systematic formulation, in a systematic way. So learning to really hone our intuition, be able to create or heal, on demand. So these children don't have to go through their schooling years troubled with anxiety, being drugged because they're told they're, ADD or oppositional defiant disorder, things like that. So it's a grand passion of mine to be able to teach everyone this. Now I have to start little bit by bit, so we're starting with adults first, but the grand vision is really to have a team of teachers passionate about changing the shape of the world, so that we can help people from all over the world in all different languages how to really hone and harness their superpowers. So that's an example of a grand vision, right? A big vision. Okay, so what do we need to do in order to truly manifest what it is we desire? Well, there are several ways of doing this, and all of them are equally important. All of them are equally important, and there's also skill sets that are included in each of them. So this is not in any particular order. So let's start with the P, perception. Okay, how you perceive the world and what happens to you is hugely important on what manifests next for you in the future. So the quality of perception is reflected in the quality of reception, meaning what you receive. So if you perceive well, you will receive well. If you do not perceive well, you may not like what you receive. The other way of saying this is, do you see things that happen in your life as a form of persecution, or is it a possibility? Yeah, things get uncomfortable in life. It's human. It's life, Do you see and perceive things as obstacles that are in your way and you can't get around them no matter what? They're a pain in the butt. Or do you see them as opportunities? So it's like perception, is it persecution or is it possibility? Is it obstacles or is it opportunity? It is your choice. What else do you need to consciously create in this reality right now? Attention. This is probably something that I've been hearing over and over and over again from Source over the last year. How important this is where we focus our attention. That's where energy goes, and that's where our results show. So it's like whatever you pay attention to is in and of itself an act of creation. So if you're paying attention to patterns in the past to the extent that you are emotionally involved with them and not clearing that or going through that and getting to the other side, when you have those emotions, that is a way of attending to the past. And so the universe goes, yes, you want the past? Sure, I'll make that happen for you. I will recreate the past for you, right? But we want to move forward. We don't want to keep recreating the past, at least the unpleasant parts of the past. So where you attend to is very, very important. And your imagination. This is something that humans are gifted with, really, truly. This species is vivid imaginations. We know from scientific experiments and research that what the brain imagines, the body will respond physiologically as if it's real. For example, when I watch a terrifying movie, I may see the scenes over and over again in my mind and recreate the adrenaline rush in my body just from thinking about those scenes, even though it's not happening to me, even though it happened 3 hours ago, okay? We all have vivid imagination, so why not use that human gift to imagine what it is you do want to manifest and less of what you don't want to manifest. So and this is how we do weather magic, for example. That's how we, help to drown out forest fires, or move hurricanes, or dissipate them, or move the rain so that somebody who's having a wedding can have lovely weather for their wedding, right? This is all based on imagination and attention, because we also don't want to attend to what everybody else is saying about what the weather is doing in the moment. We want to attend to what it is we are creating in the future for weather magic, and be very disciplined on that, and then imagine the day that we wish to create. That's basically, in a nutshell, how you do weather magic, and it works. So the last piece is intention. Now, intention does not mean, oh, I intend to be good this year and not eat sugar. Okay, that's not what I mean by intention. Intention in this way really is talking about the outcome. So being very specific about an outcome you desire, risking the possibility that maybe it's not going to turn out exactly the way you wanted it to be. However, it's like setting the GPS on your car. If you do not set the GPS in your car, you'll be driving around and, the GPS will be like, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? You have to at least set the GPS, and then you can decide, do you want to take a detour here? Okay, it'll reset. Take a detour here, it'll reset again, but you have to have some sort of goal or outcome. So that's where intention comes in. So if we go back to the top, when you have the correct or ideal perception and you hone your attention, the skill set that grows out of that is you get to exercise your discipline. And I'm not talking about discipline that's like, beating yourself up for something you did wrong or didn't do perfectly. That's not very helpful. We're talking about the mind discipline here of coming back to what you know is important, reattending to what you know is important. So what if you have attended to the past for the last 40 minutes? You're like, oh my gosh, I was attending to the past. Just switch it up. I'm just going to ignore all that stuff or clear it or whatever. And I'm going to attend to what I want to attend to in the future. So that is one of the things we exercise when we're perceiving and attending well. So what happens when we're attending well and we're using our imagination well and we're letting it flow is that we get to exercise our faith, our ability to just know in our heart of hearts that we are being supported and that our goals are going to manifest in a beautiful way that we don't even know exactly how it's going to, but it's going to. And we can be like a kid in a candy store or a kid at Christmas going, I can't wait to go, this is going to be so cool, right? And what if you have your imagination flow and you have very good, specific intentions, especially those that are based on your imagination, based on your passion? Then you get to exercise your human expression, which is amazing, your unique human expression. And then when you are intending and perceiving correctly, you get to exercise your awareness. And this is very interesting because awareness and attention are closely linked, but not exactly the same thing. With the ascension process that's going on in the world, I've noticed that people's awareness keeps expanding, but they're not always knowing or discerning what they are actually aware of, because there's parts of their bodies that can be aware of different things that they don't have conscious awareness of. So in this case, we're talking about conscious awareness. What it is that comes up when I am consciously creating. Is there an old pattern that I'm now aware of that needs to heal or clear? Is there an emotion that is sabotaging me that I have not cleared from the past? Or am I aware that I have these amazing superpowers and how I can use them and practice them? So how is all this anchored? This illumination and vision, perception, attention, imagination, and intention, it's anchored in stillness. So in stillness, this is where we can grab all of these areas in the highest vibration, the highest manifestation possible. So when we go into stillness, where we're just in the being state, when we're fully embodying and grounding our spiritual bodies in our physical bodies, and then feeling and sensing that vibration and energy in our bodies, we can enter a doorway into stillness where the monkey mind all those thoughts that are irrelevant, negative, whatever, is still. And we don't force it to be still by saying, stop thinking, because that's natural. You just think, right? What we do is we give the mind a job. We give the mind a job to focus attention on, in this case, through stillness through observing internal movement, through the inside of your body. And so you can feel the movement while you're doing something else. And that's a higher, level of it. I call it stillness on the fly. But being able to feel the vibration in your body while simultaneously talking, doing something else, watching TV, and just remembering, that's the awareness and attention piece. If you have that centerpiece of stillness, then all this becomes much, much easier, and you will manifest with ease and grace. So thank you so much for joining me. I do have a couple of announcements for this week. So next week, January 6th, on Monday at 12 noon Eastern, my good friend Dr. Dennis Lobstein and I will be doing the Ask the Lifewave Doctors radio show on Light Warrior Radio. We are going to be focusing on the symptom of tooth decay and tooth issues, and how in Chinese medicine do we address imbalances causing or contributing to tooth pain issues, and how do we correct them using acupuncture points, meridian energy, and phototherapy patches to be placed in specific protocols to help bolster the strength of this meridian and these tooth-related issues so that you can self-heal. So that's an exciting show that's going to be Monday. I'm going to be taking notes and putting it on the blog, patchtrainingteam.com. So if you're not already on that mailing list, check it out, patchtrainingteam.com. And we will send you, or my other mailing list, karencan.com, we will send you the link to join the show on Monday at 12 noon Eastern. And the second piece of announcement is that next week, for the whole week, like 5 days straight, I think, there's going to be 40 hours of free energy healing for you to take part in. So this is with the Life Transformation Summit, courtesy of From Heartache to Joy, and I'm one of the speakers. Super excited to be, and humbled to be invited to teach the way I love to teach, which is with visuals and humor and story and things like that. So I'm super excited if you'd experience this telesummit, because it's going to be really quite different. It's visual, and there will be an offer when you opt in, and you can go to karencan.com/life transformation. That's the pretty link to go to my affiliate link, and they'll track you to me that I invited you. So if you decide to get the special, I think for the first few days, there's like a 50% discount or something crazy like that for the recordings. And the cool thing about the recordings is not only do we get the recordings of the presentation and the healings, you get training and healing, okay, on a video, but you also get the snippet of just the healing part on MP3, which is super cool. So you get that special. And so Aaron told me, the host of the telesummit told me there's going to be a major discount, I think the first few days, I think before the summit starts, where you can get it at, a huge discount. If you want to do that, that would be super cool. If you're interested in getting those MP3s, it's a huge, huge value. So if you love energy healing, this might be right up your alley. And I am so looking forward to you doing some training and healing with me when it's my turn as a speaker to be up there sharing my 2 cents and wisdom with you. So those are our 2 announcements. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest. Until next time, lots of love and happy ascending. Bye for now.